Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer Horn with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and we're here at one of our communities, and Sheriff Pounds is here with us. And Sheriff Pounds is very involved in his communities, and he come out. We brought out our grill and our smoker so we can come out and help cook for this community. And Sheriff Pounds himself has come out and helped cook with us, and he's here to cook and help these folks today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the programs that I call taking my community back. If you don't get out there and get involved in your community, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. And the sad part about it, we losing our young men at such a pace that it's unreal. We got to come up with something that will help us with these children. Got to. So this is what I'm doing. I love it. I'm out here in the sun. It's hot, but like I said earlier, we're gonna do these until we get that gap between law enforcement and the community bridge. We're gonna bridge that gap because we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna find out if they got any kind of problem we can assist them with, and invite them to the sheriff's office and come to the roll call. Just come see what's going on at the office. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheriff Pounds. And like I said, this is just one of many events that we bring this grill out to help with our communities and get involved. I'm here today at one of our community outreach days with our sound truck. And our sound truck is used for just what you see. We come out to community days, we play loud music, and be able to just have a good time with it and enjoy our community. At a sheriff's office, you get to see us in a little different light. We're not always out there writing tickets or locking people up. We come out to your community day and be a part of your day and help you celebrate your community. And this is just one of the ways that we can do that, was with our sound truck. We're here today in one of our communities. We brought our ice cream truck out. A lot of people like to laugh when I say the sheriff's office owns an ice cream truck, but this is exactly what it's for, is we bring it out to our communities. We give away ice cream. We don't charge for the ice cream. The ice cream is free. And we have partners in our businesses in our community that help pay for the ice cream so that we can give it away for free. And we give it away. We go to schools. This is just one of many events that we bring our ice cream truck to. We go to the school systems. We come out to community days, block parties. We just come out and see you and help you enjoy and celebrate your community. Thank you.
Today's world exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom, Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom, Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth, saving lives.
You are tuned in to Talk Show Kings on TV 1061.
Man, what they gonna do with this black on black crime, man? I'm sick of this. Thank you for watching another edition of Talk Show Kings on TV 1061. We'll be seeing you soon. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Talk Show Kings. And before I start, I first want to thank the producer of this show, Felix Washington, and not to mention Douglasville, Georgia, and around the globe, we want to thank you for letting us into your homes again. It's going to be an exciting day today. It's going to be hot, 2 hot topics that nobody wants to touch, but everybody wants to talk about. But before I start, I need to introduce myself. I am King Ralph, and to my left is...
I am King Lundy, and to my left...
I am King Allah, and to my left is...
I am King Darwin.
And together we are
Talk Show
Kings. All right, let's get started. I want you guys to know right now, the lines are open, call in at every time if you want to pick it up. But let me tell you something right now. These 2 topics are strong, deep, and people have controversy of talking about this. It's about feminization of young black African Americans in the community. What's going on? What's really going on? I mean, look at the people in Hollywood. Are they portraying a style, a new fad, or whatever they want to call it? I mean, come on, people like Nas, Tyrese.
Little Nas X.
Not X, somebody said me.
Little Nas
Thank
X.
you.
'Cause Nas
Okay.
is different.
Yeah.
You gotta get that.
Well, thank you, Lil Nas X.
Yes.
Got it. Excuse me.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, King. And
You're
my
welcome.
thing is that what is really going on? Is it natural? Is it normal? What's going on with our community? I mean, hey, people have been talking about it. I had 2 pastors give me their input, but nobody wants to call in and say that. They say, I just said this. I just think it's a shame. Sure, it may be a shame, but keeping it real. But should I want to say right now, next to me is King Lundy, one of our kings. Not only that, he's a pastor of his own church with a radio station, and he's been doing this thing for a long time. But don't listen to me. Listen to his background. King Lundy, what's going on? Tell us who you really are.
Well, I think that with the feminists, what's going on with the younger individual these days, it's the culture king. And when I mean the culture, everybody's trying to keep up with the culture in their environment, and it sells. You know, a lot of these guys that are feminists and they're doing things to promote themselves. A lot of are in the entertainment field, and in the entertainment field, you have to be a certain way, you know, to sell records. You know, a lot of these guys may be one way in the public, and they may be totally different, you know, behind the scene. So I think that a lot of the feminist ways has to do with their culture and the way they see it through their visionary eyes of making money. You can.
I was thinking while you were speaking, and I want to take a twist and say it's political,
Yeah.
because if you follow politics with, namely Democratic Party right now, I'm not Republican or Democrat,
Right.
but when they started bringing in transvestites in the classroom, telling kids they could chop off their genitals, and having a lot of LGBTQ activities in the classroom, was feminizing young men. You understand what I mean? Like just from young, you know what I mean? So it's like we could see where when you say culture, okay, culture means way of life. So you know, they getting them young and so that they can acclimate into this LGBTQ way of thinking, and that is part of the feminizing of our boys.
Okay.
That's interesting, but I don't know how you feel, but when I go places, I don't knock anybody or what they do. I can't judge anybody, but you're telling young boys it's okay. You can wear a dress. When I seen Tyrese, I think it was at a Grammys or someplace. I think he had a dress on and a purse. I mean, everybody on this panel right now, you know, we was raised. We call them britches, socks and shoes and shirt and whatever and whatnot. But then you try to tell your little kid, your son, hey, that's not the way to go. But they doing it on TV, Daddy. Everybody is doing it. Just because everybody doing it, does that make it even right? I mean, I don't know about you guys, But what I'm feeling, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, go ahead, finish.
Okay. But
Yeah.
what I'm seeing at this, I just think it's a corrupt thing, because even when you go into the grocery stores and I see the people that's waiting on me, I'm not judging them, but when they got the hairs like the women and the plaits and the braids, and some had barrettes, and I'm thinking I'm wrong if I'm looking funny. They think, well, you wrong for judging me, but I'm not judging. I'm just looking at what's in front of me.
Right. And I just want to reiterate is you go back and you look at Flip Wilson as Geraldine.
Yep.
You go back and you look at Jamie Foxx as Wanda. You look at Tyler Perry as Medea. And through the course of the years now of what we have even seen as young men on TV as our men blacked up, dressed up like women. Now, when Cat Williams did the Shay Shay interview, a lot of people thought he was crazy in the head. He was saying, I have never and never will I dress up like a woman to sell my dignity back to the white man from which he was buying it every day. So you got to ask yourself, that feminist way, it ain't just started with Lil Nas X. It ain't just started from a whole lot of these guys. It started way back when the black man said, the only way I'm gonna put you on TV is you got to have on a dress.
The white man said.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to have on a dress. So see, a lot of these guys were put into positions that to get ahead, this is what I got to do. I got to wear a dress, or I got to play a pimp, or I got to play a drug pusher. It all goes to say, King Raphael,
See, now
that all this is lining up.
See, now you're going deep.
It's lining up. I got to go deep. That's the only way I know how to do it.
Because
Go
see,
deep.
I'm not only
Kings, man. Only way you
a
can do
king,
it.
but I'm an actor, comedian.
That's right. So you should know firsthand.
But I'm going to tell y'all, and listen to me. I'm not going to sell my soul.
Right.
A lot of people say
So the $1 million question is, what the Kings want to know, would you wear a dress, King?
No, I would
Raphael?
not.
Okay, there you have it.
I'm gonna tell you why.
You heard it right here.
I said it before on the show.
Right,
I have
right.
13 grandkids.
Right.
One great, 6 boys, 7 girls, and 1 great granddaughter.
Right.
They're looking at me. But understand, I used to be the hardcore that you couldn't be somewhat feminine way around me, but I have to realize something. And some of us gonna admit this, we got homosexual in our family.
Of course we do. Yes.
If one of my kids and my grandkids or something, how would I react? I'm gonna be honest, I would feel a little sore, but I'm gonna love them. But what the first thing come to my mind, I don't want nobody to hurt them.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing a lot of people for homosexuals was tortured and killed. And I just don't think because, hey, just because I didn't take part of that, but I wasn't a perfect guy. You're looking at a guy, I wasn't always the same man. I was young and out there running around with women. Even I had to sit on live camera. I even cheated in my marriage. That's why I'm no longer married to an individual, but I take the blame.
Right.
Just like I look at people who preach. They tell you not to do something, but I look at people and say, look, you can't tell somebody not to do something, you doing it. You know, it's just phony. Even after this show, I got calls and people said, you know what you say what gets me, Raphael? You speak from the heart.
Right.
I keep it real because I got to. And because if I don't, then somebody going to call and say, hey, remember, I used to kick you this and that. So I'm going to put it out first, I ain't going to lie. But I'm going to tell you something. What hurts me is because these boys we raising, they going to have to be, their young kings have to be a king one day to protect their homes, protect their children, wives and whatever. And you have to be a defense. You can't be soft. So I get back to the point, I hear you talk about Flip Wilson.
Yeah.
I was a fan of Flip Wilson,
Yes,
but at the same time
yeah.
it was funny. But I guess some people have mistreated that as taking it, well, maybe that's what I should do, wear a dress and this and these things. Or even, now I'm talking, maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember Richard Pryor ever in a dress.
Of course.
He was.
JoJo Dancer.
JoJo, okay, he was in a
Dancer,
dress.
Of course. So that's the whole moral of what I'm saying is a lot of times that feminine aspect was forced upon you. You know what I'm saying? And if you're trying to make a way in Hollywood and somebody's saying, well, you got to play this role, or I'm not going to give you this role, you got to do this role, but to get your feet in the door, then they'll take on that role just to get your feet in the door. If that role becomes bigger than life itself, then so be the glory. But a lot of times, you know, a lot of these kids that's coming up these days, they see the man with a dress on and they around the house playing with Barbie dolls and they doing this. That's why I made the statement last week. It has to be a man somewhere in the house, whether he's an uncle, a brother, a stepdad, a mentor, old boy down the street. It has to be a man somewhere in that format to make this thing work.
And that's exactly what I was going to touch on right there, what we was talking about last week, far as a lot of these women are raising our young men by themselves because the father isn't in the home. So I think that's a big part of it, you know. And I have a son, so, you know, and I've seen, you know, and it's been a time when I wasn't there, you know, in the home with my son.
Right.
And I could see, you know, because he's around his mother. He got his sister. He got his grandmother. He got his auntie. You know, and he got his other female cousins. You know what I mean? And I had to really watch that, you know, and get on top of it early, because they're so receptive at that early age, and they see their mother always in the mirror getting dressed and always putting their makeup on and getting all prettied up. And these kids, these young men, see that and they think that's, you know, what they should do. If they don't have a man, exactly.
No manly presence. You got to have manly presence somewhere in that picture. Cause like King said, if he sees his mom in the bathroom and she putting on makeup, one day nobody's there and he starts go in the bathroom and then he trying on makeup.
I also want to add on, right? I was thinking as you was speaking too, that TikTok and all of this social media is promoting the feminization as well. So sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes
the system itself is promoting the feminization of men. You can look on television now. There is no Humphrey Bogart. There is no Billy D no more. You know, it is no masculine men on television. You know, they took away that because that's what they're trying to do. If they said if they can take the masculinity out of a man, then they can destroy a people. You see what I'm saying? Without a man in the home, they break down the family structure. Okay, so that's what this whole thing is about. If they can, you know, if they can feminize our men,
I'm gonna flip
they can break down. There's no family.
I'm gonna flip it on you, cause listen, it's not just males. I've seen a lot of time women have done things to women and boys. It's two sides. When you start talking, you opening a whole door for everything. Every poison is going to come in. They got women in prison that got with young boys and gotten pregnant. I think the school teacher at one time got pregnant, had a baby. Then she got out of jail and still got back with the kid. I think she's dead today. But you see, when I told you about those granddaughters I have, I know, fellas, I keep it real. I don't even want them to sit on my lap. Let me tell you why. I don't want them to get comfortable sitting on a man lap. Just because when you set a male in the house, that's good, but then you're not. Just like I told you last week, I hate when women say, well, I'm a woman, and a woman thinks this way. Well, I'm a man. I can't think like each and every one of you, and you can't think like me. Because what's going on in your mind? What happened that you didn't say and a child or somebody get? Because I remember at a party, I had two of my granddaughters sitting on my lap. And this one little kid, no relation to me, she trying to climb, and she almost climbed. I said, whoa, everybody else, Poppy can't, they got a bad back, get them off. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. She was just looking for affection, like my two granddaughters. But you can't trust it these days. These day and time, it was bad back then, but it was so secret. Now it's so open now. And all they're getting is a tap on the wrist now. You do a couple of months and a couple of weeks. And the male in the house is right, because the male was in my house, my father, who I love, 35 years, that man, I used to want to be him so bad. That man go to work when it's dark, come home late and eat. My mom he didn't have breakfast. I was asleep. Come home, my mom had a big place of supper for him. And he did his day and sat there, and he might have drunk a beer, looked at a TV, looked at a couple laughs, took his shower and went to bed. It's like, God, what a life. And then when he retired, he went and worked for the streets. I mean, and now today he has cancer. All those years.
But he was there, though.
Yeah, he was there.
That's the key thing.
Oh,
he was there.
Right. Definitely, he was there.
Now, what about the parents or the single mothers whose that man is not there? And that's the key to this whole topic is a man needs to be there of some stigmatism in that child's life.
Absolutely.
A woman can only take a baby boy so far. A man just being there, guiding and leading and showing him the right direction, even if you're not there but temporary or you come in and out. But when there's now, Lil Nas X, do you think he had a man in his life? Remember, he was homeless at 14 now. Before he made the Cowboy song, he was homeless.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't think he did.
Absolutely. There's just no way in the world a man could have signified anything in this young man's life because a lot of time he kept it hid, and we all keep a lot of our secrets hid. But one thing that I know about the enemy is he will keep your secrets hid until it's time to expose you. Come on, boy, you better say that, preacher. One thing about the enemy, he gonna expose you, buddy. He'll cover you up for so long until you just think you all the way home. And then he'll expose you and he'll show the world this is who you're giving creditation to. I got him. Now, I'm gonna let you see him and what he's worth. There were a lot of men in the ministry, when they get exposed, they don't know how to handle it because they hid behind the cloth and they hid behind the enemy.
All right.
Hey, that's the true fact there.
Yes.
You see what's going on now in the community.
So they're exposing you now. When you expose, it's like, what the young boy said, now you got to stand on business. You got to stand on business now. Once you get exposed, you got to stand on your business.
But that goes back to what I was saying.
Absolutely.
Everybody, you have a secret.
Yes.
I thank God never have nobody defied me or fouled me when I was a young kid. I'm so glad. And my kids, I'm just so glad. I thank God for that. But what I'm saying, it goes back to this again. We can talk about it and talk about it.
Yes,
people say they don't want to touch it. I mean, I had some 3 pastors I talked to. They gave me their point of view on some things, but they decided to stand back. I love them to death, but I was glad King Lundell, the man of God of the cloth, to hear and said, let's keep it real, because if you're not talking about it, it's not going to go away. You're going to constantly see it. I see it everywhere I go, and if you say something, you're the wrong person. Because if you ain't up with society, then, hey, you're not up with the upkeep thing.
Right.
So I'm looking right now, and I say to myself, let's keep it real. Think if I forget.
Yes.
What's his, that show, Leroy, Fame. Remember him?
Fame,
Fame.
Leroy.
That boy was the best dancer. He was out dancing the girls and the guys. But all the time, we knew as men, like, okay, well, Leroy could dance, but I believe it's sad to say that he died of HIV later.
Never knew that.
I read some on it. Allegedly, I heard he died of HIV. Let's put it that way, okay? But before I finish, the lines are open. Please call in if anybody want to add something to this, because we welcome your comments.
We had some
and
good
we want you to
callers last week. Good callers.
I'm sorry?
We had some good callers.
We had some great callers. I mean, hey, and I believe that a lot of people right now want to say something. Sometimes people want to, you might have a young person looking at this right now, and they say they just want to talk about it. We're not putting you down.
Right.
We're just talking. We want to help you and just talk to you. Just say it's okay to say what's going on. If you want to talk to somebody, if you got a male, somebody you can look up to, hey, go to that individual, because they was young once too. Peer pressure, and that's for the young people especially. Just because somebody come to you and say, hey, everybody doing it, that's the in crowd. No. Because I never forgot when I was young, I was about 14, these guys told me, hey man, you can make some money, just go take the money out this drawer. I had that much smart to go, really? Okay, I seen my bus coming, and then they was in a talking thing. We got this little guy. That bus came, I jumped on the bus. They running behind me, cussing and swearing like I did them something. But listen to me, my parents didn't raise no fool.
Yeah.
All I'm just trying to say to you guys here, listen to me. We only have one life, and it's going fast. It's no second chance, and we know everything is out there: disease,
Right.
alcoholism, drinking, drugs. Hey, all I'm just saying, we got to be on our kids. We got to talk to them.
Yes.
Shoot. And hey, King Ali, you was talking about something. You're talking to your kids, even before the show. You was talking to your son on the phone.
Oh, that was my grandson.
Oh, your grandson.
Yeah, I got a grandson. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Princeton, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was talking to him.
Oh, okay. You tell him to catch you on the show. Catch you. How old is your
Yeah,
grandson?
He's 9.
Oh, okay. That's a good age.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
baby boy right there. That's my boy.
Oh, okay then. And you telling them what's the deal, what's going on? You.
Oh yeah. I'm instrumental in all my kids, grandkids. Yeah. But just to add on to the conversation, it's a big push from just the top, the elite. It feels like to push this agenda on all of us and the children as well. Like watching TV and you just watching, and then you seeing two men kissing. That was not common. 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't common.
Yeah, we wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't
and
see
now
it too
what
much.
you're seeing is the blatant
Yeah.
push of all of this, as if
In your
this
face,
is more,
yeah.
right. It's like
Yeah,
as if
yeah,
this is
yeah.
more important than regular issues, and the sitting at the table eating the price of food and things like that. They're making this more of an issue than real issues to me, from my standpoint, as far as like what's going on in the world. Lately I've taken a big stance on politics. Because growing up, I was always told in a conversation, don't talk about religion or politics.
Right.
But I feel like that was only told to the minority, people of color, black people, because I see my European brothers constantly talking about religion and politics. So I said, I think at my age, I should want to know what rules the world, what type of things is going on behind closed doors, these policies, right?
Yeah.
And things like that, religious things, you know what I'm
definitely.
saying? We need to talk about this openly, whether we agree or disagree, right? Because I feel like we're behind because we don't honestly partake in conversations like politics and religion.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I was into politics, and my thing, I come to find out, man gonna say a lot from here when it's election times. And I just don't fall for the okie doke anymore. I don't see you the whole 2-3 years, and I see you buy me some donuts and coffee and give me a shirt. My thing, I'm not, in other words, I'm a Christian, I'm a man of God, I fall short, I repent every day, but that's not the you or you. It's just the God knows my stance, what I'm trying to do and want to do. Like, take this show, for instance. I want to do this show because we're talking to the world. They're listening to us. They're listening to everything we say. You say wrong, they're going to watch you. And I was just wondering, before I came to work, I was saying, somebody called me and said, hey, I'm waiting for you to fail. Yeah, I'm waiting for you to fail. I said, yeah. But Jesus is going to pick me back up again.
Right.
Because you see, I don't mind falling down and getting back up. You see, that's what men do. We wait till you make a mistake to drop something. So I'm comfortable with myself. Hell, I'm not a perfect person, but at the same time, I ain't going to point and say you are. You got to know what you are.
Yeah.
I know where I'm headed, because when we done this segment right now, I believe I called Pastor and I said, I want you to give your take on it. But I believe King Lundy is holding back because he have a background in this background. And what studies you have done? Because you've been, how long you been pastoring?
if I can be totally honest with you, I've had pastors in all my life. You know, God has called me to move and do something. Now, whether or not I answer that call,
Okay, it's another thing.
no, I was on my own agenda for many years, and something happened in my life where I was in a position where mama couldn't help me, and daddy couldn't help me, and sister couldn't help me. The only source of my help came from God. And I said, God, if you not pull me out of this, see, because when God pull you out of something, then it's a quick fix. You ain't gonna never know what you've been through if he pull you right out of it. So my prayer was, God, don't pull me out of it, but see me through it.
Come on now.
And when he saw me through my infirmities, what I was going through, I said, but God. So I knew then that from this point on, for God I live and for God I lie. I had no idea that I would wind up in a college taking up classes to be a preacher. Me of all people. Even when I go back to my high school, they be like, London, you joking, right? Preacher? You a preacher? You know, just stuff like that.
Remember when you used to do this?
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, I stayed in school. I got my theology degree. I started doing prison ministry. I was going back and forth to the jail, you know, just talking to the inmates and just preaching God, you know. And I found out that, man, it feel good on this side. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to on that side, God opening doors and opening windows. And when he began to open those doors and open those windows, he put people in my lives, these kings right here, and Felix and other people that I'm able to run into in my life. And he said, Reb, this is what I want you to do. This is the place I want you to go. That's why now my back can be hurting, my ankles hurting, but if God says, well, I want you here for this particular reason, I know I got to go there and I got to be here for this particular reason, because somebody out there needs to hear what God has in store for them. See, God has something in store for me, but guess what? He got something in store for each one of you all.
All of us.
But I urge you, don't wait until the day of his return to say, well, oh God, I'm ready now, because it's going to be too late. The rapture is yet upon us. And people need to start to understand that when I say the rapture is yet upon us, is people don't know what the rapture is. What the rapture is, and if you saw the movie, God came back and everybody knew it but unbelievers.
Okay. They know what perished.
Everybody knew it but unbelievers. All the Christian people, they were ready to go when he came back. They laid eyes on him, said he's here, the Messiah is here. But if you ain't gave your life to Christ, you ain't gonna know who he is when he come back.
Come on now.
So that's why I'm saying be prepared at all times, because no man knows the hour, the date, the time, or the minute.
And that's true. And
so to answer your question, yeah, I'm grateful. And no, I ain't gonna hold back. You know, once we get to that segment of what we discuss in that segment, we're gonna talk about. This is my point. And I had this discussion with 3 preachers before I even driving here. I'm on the phone with them.
Come on now, you get set, huh?
Hey, listen, I want you to watch the show at 5. I'm going on the air, you know. I no chaser, no cut, no chaser.
All
you
right.
know what I'm saying? You know, so they were like, well, Red, you know, this is how I feel about it. What is how I feel about it?
No, but I want to commend you. Before I continue, I believe King Ali, you want to say something?
Yeah, I do have a announcement. Last show, you asked me a question. I was just thinking about the answer, and then I watched it with my fiance, and she said, because you said as a single man, and I was like, yeah, and I just answered. She said, you single? No, I'm not single. Yeah,
you in trouble.
I had to clear that up. Yeah, I'm not single. I'm engaged, and I'm actually.
Congratulations to the both of you all.
And I'm gonna let you guys know. You all know who my fiance is.
Oh, okay. So
who is your fiance?
She is one of the talk show divas.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Mrs. Unique. That's my fiance. Funny thing was, we was just trying to keep it on a low because, you know, she was dealing with feelings. I got my own stuff going on. I write books and stuff.
Yeah.
So when she introduced me to Felix, I said, yeah, I'll do it. But we was trying to like, all right, yeah, just let's keep it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my fiance, you know what I mean? And last week when you asked me, I think I was just thinking about the answer,
Oh, okay.
and I was speaking.
It sounded like you was in a doghouse.
Yeah, I was. So I'm just clearing that up.
A word of advice, though.
Yes, sir.
When you got that beautiful black queen, never keep her hid for nobody.
Right, that's
I
right.
don't care who they are.
Okay.
Don't
That's
keep
right.
her hid
That's
for
right.
nobody.
That's right.
Thank you, brother.
Well, you know what? Hey, just on that note right there, we're gonna wind up. We're gonna go to our second half. But when we come back, the second topic is really gonna blow the roof off the church house. If you know what I mean. So we out right now. We'll be back in a moment.
Hi, my name is Lauren and welcome to TV 1061. Join our network and broadcast your film live across the continent. Come to our studio and film and stream your TV show, sitcom, and showcase and broadcast it worldwide. Combine multimedia with your live stream. Independent filmmakers show your movie and afterwards interview your cast live. Sponsors, advertisers, I'm talking to you. This is your chance for global exposure. These are exciting times that we're in. Traditional TV is but a thing of the past. TV 1061 is on the Roku platform. Roku is an industry leader in internet TV. It has a viewership of 53 million and counting. It is the most popular and fastest growing internet TV platform. If you are interested in developing and showcasing your movie or show, or interested in coming in as a sponsor or advertiser, please send us your contact information with a brief description of your interest to 1061tv@gmail.com. Thank you.
Today's world exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth, saving lives.
You are tuned in to Talk Show Kings on TV 1061.
Man, what they gonna do with this black on black crime, man? I'm sick of this. Thank you for watching another edition of Talk Show Kings on TV 1061. We'll be seeing you soon. Okay, we're back for the second half. But I got to say this because one of our kings, you notice he's not here this week.
Right.
It's King Nate. He's under the weather, so our prayers is with him. All the kings on the show right now.
Shouts out to King Nate.
You know,
Shout outs.
Come on, we waiting on you, brother. Come on back here. Amen. And I want to say now, get ready, buckle up, because we got a topic here. Everybody been talking about this. I've spoken to 3 pastors. It's giving me chills to say this. And they gave me the comments, but 2 did say, well, I'm not going to call in. But the third one said, I'm going to go, I'm going to call in. It was Pastor Richardson. And I'm just want to thank her. She said she's going to call, and the lines are open. This is the last segment of the show, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a big one. Should LGBT or homosexuals have a leadership in the pulpit? And that's been the biggest talk that's going around. Before I do say this before the call-ins, I want to say this. As I spoken up earlier, I said I was not faithful in my earliest marriages. And then I was a compulsive gambler. God takes things from me. But I'm going to be honest, I may pay a lotto or two. I'm going to keep it real with you. But let me ask you something. I was thinking, suppose I had a position in the church playing piano or organ, and I wasn't hurting nobody. Well, they give them reason to put me out. Because I remember, I believe in the Bible, it's all sin is sin.
Yes.
It should be category. So I'm just asking anybody out there, if you got a comment you want to call in, how do you feel about that? Because one of the two pastors, like I said, I love them to death. One of them married my wife and I. She said, you can come attend to the church, which both of them said that, but you should not have a leadership role because God called people to serve, and that's not a good look, I believe, and I don't want to quote me on that. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I won't give any names, anything, but we have our own pastor on the set, and you know, this is a big one here, King Lundy.
Yes.
Because
yes,
I know
yes.
everybody looking at you to see what you're going to say. How
yes.
do you feel about that?
And I tell you what, I have had this conversation, I mean, throughout the years with many pastors, bishops, pastors, reverend ministers, whatever you want to call the man of the cloth, we have had this conversation. And I will be the first to let people know that God's design, and it comes straight from the Bible, is first and foremost, it's marriage. Marriage is the key to God's design. God affirmed his design by two sexes. That's male and female. I'm going to say that again. The marriage is designed two sexes, male and female. Not male and male, not female and male, but male and male. The Bible also teaches us that homosexuality is a sin. And if you are following God's word and his design word, then you know that sin does not equate to you being part of a Bible institution that causes you to sin. The Bible says that if your right hand causes you to sin, should you cut it off? Should you cut it off?
Okay, but that's real what you're saying, but
should you cut it off is my question to you people. If your right hand causes you to sin and it affects the whole body, should you cut that right hand off?
But
Well, I would
isn't that the
say-
Old Testament?
Yeah. Whether it's the Old Testament or the New Testament, I think it shouldn't matter. But
We
we
got a
got
call in already.
Caller, welcome to Talk Show Kings. You want to call in, you say what?
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I am well. This is Reverend Dr. Richardson.
Hey, Dr. Richardson, how are you?
Richardson, how
Is
you
that
doing,
Pastor
man?
Dr. Richardson?
Reverend Doctor.
Yes, yes.
Hey, how are you, WOG, woman of God? Nice to hear from you.
Amen. I'm wonderful. How are you?
We are doing just fine. You would like to come in on the topic tonight?
Yes,
Go ahead, we're listening.
yes. I'd just like to say, first of all, I do not condone or condemn
Uh-huh.
the homosexual. And I say that merely because that is not our place or our responsibility.
That's right.
And I think it's a slippery slope when we start naming and accepting this sin and rejecting that sin. God said, like you said earlier, sin is sin.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, but what I really, want to let people know, when we try to remove certain people from the church, which has happened,
Uh-huh.
when we try to remove people from the church, it leaves them in darkness. And so we must be careful when we're deciding which sins get to stay and which sins must go.
Right. Okay, now let me ask you a question. Now, when you say remove them from the church, what do you mean by remove them from the church? Like asking them to leave, or I mean, I was always told as a
Stepping down.
preacher, it's always best to be axed up than axed down. So when you say remove, what do you mean by removed?
I mean, there are instances where I've heard that people have actually been, from anywhere from sitting them down,
Okay.
removing them from their position, if
Okay.
they're in a position in the church,
Right,
or
okay.
actually removing them from the church.
Okay.
So, I just want to say it's a slippery slope.
It is very much so. I couldn't agree with you
The Word of
more.
God says that
Yeah.
all have sinned and fall short.
Right.
So I believe when we start deciding, if you're in this sin,
Right.
you can't participate.
Right.
But if you're in
Absolutely.
this sin,
Yeah.
we're going to let you stay.
Right. And if I can, Pastor Richardson, with all due respect, of course, I want to ask you a question. How do you feel about a preacher that's in that LGBT community preaching a sermon to the church and then going home from the church having a homosexual encounter with their partner, but just preach the word of God to a church that needed to hear that word of God? How do you feel about that? And that person having the leadership of the church, because this was conversation is, how do we feel about the leadership being of that community and leading and directing the church, if I will?
I do not agree
Okay.
with someone standing in the pulpit. But here's what I want to say.
Right.
I don't believe that we should single out
Right.
that sin.
Absolutely.
I believe a homosexual standing in the pulpit preaching and then going home to that
Right.
encounter
Right.
is the same as a liar standing in the pulpit and then going home lying as an
Right.
adulterer.
I agree with you
Standing in the
100%.
pulpit and then going home into his, going back to his hotel room
Right.
and having women lined up outside the door.
Right.
All of those. So I just, when we start categorizing sin,
Right.
I believe it's a slippery slope.
Okay.
So I think we should do our best to call out all sin
Okay.
and not just focus on one sin.
Right. Very well said. Very well said. Very well said.
I want to add on this, Pastor Richardson. We see before us, we see people of the LGBT, and they don't hide it, even the homosexual. What about the people who you don't know, who's perpetrating? And he just said, a person's homosexual preaching to go to your hotel room or your house. What I'm saying to you, say somebody's harboring something, they'll never let the secret out because they're going to lose their church or they're going to lose members. I got to keep it on the DL. So that person right there, so you really don't know. All we got to do is have faith in God and just let him use us in the way we're supposed to be used. But still, I'm still to the point thinking, this is how I feel personally about what y'all saying. I believe, hey, if I was a sick person, and I told you I was a compulsive gambler, cheated in my marriages, my early marriages when I was married, I'm confessing, but it's not really to you, it's to God. And I feel I'm level, I'm plain, but the person who got to come every day and lie, I'm a man, but really you have those desires. If we go to Bruce Jenner, for the whole time, I was a fan of his when I was growing up. And then it blew me away to come out. I didn't know he had those feelings, trying on his stepdaughter's underwears and stuff like that. I mean, I thought you eat Wheaties, but you see, the confusing fact is people in denial. They got a lot of people in denial right now going on. So my thing on that, who you know standing next to you is who they say they are. And then you might say somebody that preached one Sunday for me, and do you really know them? So that's something to think about also. So that's why I look at people, I pray and ask God, listen, Lord, I'm not perfect. but I ask you to guide me. Earlier, one of the kings talked about politics. He said he'd look at the corruption. I don't follow man. I listen to the word a man or a woman say. When people say amen, I never say amen. I say I'll wait and read for myself, you know. So that's just the way who I am. Am I complete? No, I'm not perfect. But at the same time, I appreciate the calling, what you said. That was real deep, and that was a lot of courage to say what you're saying, because a lot of people are not going to say that.
Yeah,
everybody
thank you
talk
very
about
much,
it.
Pastor.
Well, I think one thing we have to realize, too, as the Apostle Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ.
Right.
And that's the goal. That's who we should be keeping our eyes on, is Christ. So if we're not, you know, examine my life, you know, and like you said, King Ralph, we're human. We're not going to always get it right.
Right, absolutely.
But we are striving for perfection, and that should always be the goal, that we're striving. So, you know, is it, you know, I have a question. Is it any worse having a homosexual or having a pastor with multiple partners in the church and children?
No, it truly isn't. You know,
What
it
I would
truly
feel,
is. Go ahead, King.
I feel it's definitely a difference. You know, like you say, sin is sin, but it's levels to the game. You know, it's definitely levels.
Yeah.
You know, it never is talked about. You know, if the pastor is married, that's one thing. Of course, he shouldn't be committing adultery, you know, with other women, other congregation. But if the man is single, I mean, that's one thing, that's another thing. But at the same time, homosexuality to me is just something that's wrong. You know, it's not of nature. You know, we're people of nature. So if you're not living along with nature, then you're going against nature. And that's where it's wrong for me. I'm a man of nature. So if it's not something natural, you know, if we can't look outside and see it's happening amongst nature, then man shouldn't take on that characteristic either. You know, but at the same
you do realize
time,
there are two natures, right?
Yeah.
what, two natures?
You do realize there's two natures. There's a fleshly nature and a spiritual
The
nature.
spiritual nature.
Absolutely, but it's all intertwined as one. It all works.
Yeah.
It all works collectively together.
I personally think that, and the Bible said, "Judge not, be judged not," and nobody knows that God calls whomever He calls. And I know a lot of people of the LGBT community. You know, I spoke with a lot, and they said, "Well, God called me. Well, God told me, and God did this." Well, who am I to question God? If that's what God told you, then you follow what God told you to do. You know, so. My last word on that, Pastor, is I'm a philanthropist. I'm a lover of all people and all things, and I don't condemn, you know, no community. You know, that wouldn't be right of me to do so, and I call myself a Christian. But I just believe that in the pulpit, you know, and that's what we're talking about as far as leadership is concerned. I don't want to ever get up to a church and I see the preacher twisting to the pulpit or twisting up there.
Well, then, brother, then you do have you are judging. Then you are judging. So don't say that you're not judging when you are. That's judgment. You're judging.
Okay,
so you know, so you gotta. So this is the problem with us. You know, we're scared to say what we really feel. You see what I'm saying? Because we feel that somebody is gonna, you know, bash us or persecute us or have something bad to say. But that's the problem. Yeah. Because nobody's speaking up. Everybody's scared to speak against it when we know deep down within ourselves that it's not so right.
Like Pastor said,
you understand what I'm saying? And that's what's wrong with our kids. And that's why you have the feminine men walking around and the masculine women walking around. You know, it goes on both ends because we don't have a congregation saying that, hey, that's not really condoned. That's not really what, you know, what the Most High will condone a person to do.
And if you know
what I'm saying?
Churches, stay away from that.
Yes,
A lot
yes,
of churches.
yes.
That's why a lot of the ministers.
But that's
why a lot of the ministers.
I just want to say one more
stay
thing.
away from it
I want to
because
say something before
the
she
LGBT
go.
community
I ain't
put a
get
lot
chance
of
to
money
speak to the
in the
sister.
church.
Sister Richard.
Go ahead,
Sister
Sister
Richard,
Richard.
how you doing? This is
Pastor
King
Richard.
Allah. Nice to meet you. Thanks for calling.
Well,
I wanted to say something to you. I'm learning, but also from what I know, now I want to say a couple of statements, then it's going to lead into a question. So I know that, about Sodom and Gomorrah, and it was so terrible there that, God said, if you don't get out, I'm going to turn you into a pillar of salt if you look back and stuff like that. I know there's a few other passages in the Bible that speak against homosexuality, but off the top, I don't know, but I just heard it before. I'm just speaking in general.
Yeah.
Now, I know that we spoke about nature, and you said two natures. I'm what you call a wordsmith. I'm a linguist, so I write books. And the word nature comes from the word neter, which actually comes from the Egyptian hieroglyph neter, neteru, which is another word for God or forces of God, which is what nature is, the forces of God, right? Wind, air, the sun, the seasons, right? That's nature. I don't know about two natures. I know you could go outside of your nature, and I know that humans tend to be the only creatures on the planet that really go outside their nature. Like animals won't, if it's not in their nature to go deal with men and men, male and male, they won't do it. Humans tend to go outside of their nature, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when you go outside their nature, that's called breaking the law. That's the natural universal law. When you go outside, let me speak, please. When you go outside of the natural law, right? The universal law, there's penalties, right? There's penalties, and we know that what's natural. We know that men, women is natural for the purposes of recreation, procreation, right? I believe in that. I believe in spirituality, and I believe that if you have to hide, these times we living in, it feels like we getting further away from what's righteous and what's right. To me, that's just me. I'm not a preacher or nothing, none of that. I'm an author. I write books, and I'm an independent thinker. It's like we getting away from it. Even having this discussion, like, oh, is it right or wrong? We know it's like he said. We know it's not right. Yeah. But we're getting away. We're not getting closer to.
And Pennis, I don't have anything against anyone that chooses to do whatever they want to do, because that's their choice. Everybody has a choice. You can do whatever you want to do. That's one great thing about being a human being. You got the freedom of choice. But the one thing that we also got to do, we got to stand up for what's right and wrong. Yeah. You know what I'm saying as well? Because if you don't, then you're condoning it. If you're not saying that, because I know I got kids, and I got a sweet, beautiful daughter, and I got a great, handsome young man, and I want them to grow up to know what's right and to see what's right happening. But if you don't have a voice saying it, then that's why kids running around thinking that it's okay, because their parents are saying, oh no, it's okay for Johnny to to think that way and to feel that way. Mm-hmm. No, it's okay for Sally to to be this way and be that way, because they don't hear a voice and they don't see a people collectively talking about that it's wrong. But you see a voice and you hear a voice of people saying that it's right.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But you don't hear the voice saying that it's wrong.
Right.
That's the issue. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I'm saying. And it's no wrong, and we can all get along. But it's still about standing on ground, standing on your base, and not being, not being, shifted to one side or the other, and not trying to play the fence. Either you're on this side or you're on that side.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I want to go back when you said judge. Let me tell y'all something. If we see somebody shoot somebody in front of us, and he say, I'm not a killer, do we judge that person, or we say, well, maybe he's not?
What? Yeah. Well, you got to look at what is the reason.
Yeah. Self-defense.
Was it? Yeah. What's the reason behind it?
And instead of leaving the door open on that, that's why I said that for a reason.
Yes.
Because jokingly, Eddie Murphy said, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You see, I saw you, it wasn't me. Come on now. But we got common sense here, just like we've seen, I think, the attack on Washington.
Yeah.
January 6th, and everybody say it didn't happen. People's having a great time.
Yeah.
I've seen, now, everybody know in this world, if it had been black folks came to the gate, would have been shot. We ain't had to get through the gate. And you see people saying they was having, they showing you a report talking about everybody having a great time.
And to get that deep inside of the Capitol, I mean, and to just call heretics, I mean, we would have never gotten that far, like you said, how they got. But getting back to the topic of the story is that, you know, each community has their own identity. And like King Darby said, the churches, the Christianity, and just everyday people, we try to stay away from that topic. It was a great topic, by the way.
Because they don't want to touch
it. Absolutely, because it's something that if you touch it the wrong way, it could come back.
Haunt you.
But in the Bible, it does say, and you know, like I say, I'm not no Christian, but it does say what? Be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah.
Now, you can't be fruitful and multiply. Either you're going to believe in the word or you're not going to believe in the word. You can't, you know, that's what I, you know, that's what
still with us?
You know,
and
I feel.
I want to say this. I was just thinking.
All right, now.
I just want to say,
Close us out.
in any way,
So close us out.
okay, so I just want to say in no way, shape, or form do I condone that behavior.
Yes.
All I'm saying is we need to look at all sin.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And to, you know, to go to, I don't know his name, but, you know, I gave the example of the pastor in the pulpit, you know, seeing multiple women in the church and fathering multiple children. That's fornication.
Are you local? Are you local? Are you here?
I am local. Yeah,
Hey, do me a favor. I'm gonna pass some information to you. I would love to have you on my radio show one day, and I'm gonna give Raphael my number, and give me a call, and we'll make that happen.
Absolutely.
We got a whole lot more we want to talk about. Okay, thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I appreciate the invitation.
Because you always got to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to say something?
I just want to say one thing too, because if you go back in history and then you look at, you know, the history, and it does say that back in the day when you was a homosexual, it was a mental illness. Yeah. It was classified as a mental illness. They just changed it from being a mental illness because it suits their narrative. You know, it suits their agenda. Yeah. You know, but it was classified as a mental illness. So, you know, do your research, man. It's deep, man.
You want to say bye to her?
I'm sorry?
You want to say bye to the pastor?
Hey, I think she's hung up. Did you leave? Are you there with us, Pastor Richards?
I'm here.
Hey, I want to thank you coming on this show because it takes a lot of heart. And then again, some people think they're going to lose members. Yeah. And they're saying, but just speaking your mind. I think when you're true like that, you're going to have 50 going to like you and 50 going to hate you. Yeah. You know, and I want to truly thank, I'm saying here, I want to thank Rev also to say what he had to say. And I thank you for the call, and we will be getting in touch with you again real soon.
Thank you so much, Pastor.
Yes.
Amen. Thank you.
All right, God bless.
Bye-bye.
Now, I want to, if anybody wants to say something, because I want to give a pie to what I came to the conclusion, what I feel.
I did want to say one thing. I was going to say, if all the activity was so good to God, he wouldn't have destroyed that city. Like if it was okay, or he was cool with it, he wouldn't have said, "Listen, if you don't get out, I'm going to destroy everything in there." And if you look back,
but we only got a few minutes left, about a minute left, so we're gonna.
And I just want to say, and it's good that even if, you know, you do have the homosexuals coming into the church for help, then that's what you guys should set up, something to help them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, to maybe coach them and to guide them and to really talk to them and see, you know, if they, you know, because it is a situation.
Yeah, understand that a lot of these men are 50, 60, 40-year-old men that been gay for 20 years, and they stuck in that mentality.
Yeah.
Well, this is my life. I mean, now it's
As
a
it going
lifestyle.
on, you can hear with the camera. We're gonna be out of here, and we're gonna keep discussing this.
It's a
And we want
lifestyle.
to thank you, and we can't wait for next week.
Yes.
And all gonna say again to King Nate, brother, we're praying for you.
Get well,
Yes,
Nate.
sir.
well,
Get
All
well.
right. And we gotta thank once again the producer of this show,
Yeah,
Mr. Felix
Washington.
Washington.
Hey,
So
hey,
let's give him a
Felix.
hand, give him a hand. Hey, thank you
Yeah.
guys. We out. See you next week.
You are tuned in to Talk Show Kings on TV 1061.
Man, what they gonna do with this black on black crime, man? I'm sick of this. Thank you for watching another edition of Talk Show Kings on TV 1061. We'll be seeing you soon.